crowds and whatnot. The 4 teams that we're playing non-conference, 3 of them are teams that we haven't seen before. Obviously, we get Roosevelt in, and we haven't played them yet either, so there's 4 new opponents. We're excited about that. I think the guys are excited to go to some new stadiums, see some new competition from that standpoint, and, you try to find a way to get off to a good start with the non-conference stuff. We get a bye week before we start league play, and everybody understands the gauntlet we run when we get into the GLIAC. So important for our guys to have a good camp, stay healthy during camp, and get off to a good start once we kick off at Bemidji.
Talking with, you and all of the coaches in this league and just people around this league, it's well regarded as the best D2 league in football. So in your mind, what makes it so competitive and so difficult to play in?
Well, all the guys sitting out here right now, incredible coaches, incredible coaching staffs. The players that are in our league, it's a different level of talent that we see when we play the teams from our league compared to those other ones, not to take a shot at anybody else, but it's just a different level of football. There's not FCS football in our state, but the GLIAC, in my opinion, is as close to that as you get in our region, and it's one of those deals where we preach to our guys every single week that it doesn't matter who we're playing. When you're playing a team from our league, you got to be ready to go, and mistakes got to be at a minimum, and execution's got to be at the ultimate level. So I have a ton of respect for everybody that's in this league, coaches, players, and competing in this league every weekend is an incredible deal.
Makes it kind of tough, right? There's no breaks on your schedule once you get into league play.
There are not, and we preach depth over and over again every offseason, trying to get guys ready, but you got to be on your game and physically ready to go when it's time to get into the season that you play at this level. So our guys know that, well aware of it, and of course up to that challenge as well.
Okay, Alex, Mark, talking with Coach, you guys were in a lot of games last year. You finished 5-5. You picked up 1 win in the GLIAC, but there were some opportunities potentially to get some more that maybe you didn't finish out. Alex, let's start with you. What do you think is going to be the difference this year to close out some of those tight games? As we know, he's talking about it, how difficult it is to win games in the GLIAC.
Yeah, I think a part of it is composure, but I think another part certainly is experience. And like Mark touched on, we have 9 starters coming back on defense, a ton of guys up front and at skill positions in the offensive room. So I think it's more just about playing together, being able to know like what we can get through together. And I think that, takes us back to off-season workouts and stuff we've gone through this summer is relying on each other at the end of the game.
Mark, for you, going off of what Alex said, you bring back 9 faces that you're familiar with on the defensive end. Tell us about some of your helpers there and how much of an impact that's going to make this season as you guys look to move upward and onward.
Yeah, when you just look at where we're starting in the linebacker room, we've got 4 guys across the board who have started football games for 4 years, and you look at a guy like Hunter Beekle, who really is one of the heart and souls of our defense, and the ability of having a guy like him to come in and make plays at the end of games, big-time plays, forced fumbles, touchdowns, interceptions, and, the impact that makes. A guy like Josh Cribben, who, really is an excellent pass rusher and comes in and knows how to finish games like that. Having seen them do that over the past 4 years is something that really brings confidence to some of the younger guys who we're going to have with our, returning starters, and it is something that we're going to need to capitalize on this year.
Alex, you got a pretty good player sitting to your left, but you also have a pretty good former player sitting to your right. How much have you learned from Coach Metlock playing the quarterback position?
Yeah, he's the reason I'm at Michigan Tech. It's a guy that, all my teammates can attest to. We'd run through a wall for this guy. And it's also really nice to have him, as my position coach, so I'm with him every day, whether it's like in the classroom or on the field.
Another thing, you got a unique situation where you got a high school teammate that you get to throw the football to. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, beyond just being teammates, me and Chamney are like really tight friends too. So, that relationship transcends just football. We're together off the field quite a bit too. But yeah, it's a guy that I can rely on. Not just him, but the rest of my receiving core too. We're pretty tight, so it's going to be a fun fall.
Coach Metlock, just to kind of wrap up your expectations, what you're looking for once you guys get fall camp going and then heading into this season coming up pretty quick here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We start on Monday. Like I said, the off-season's been a good one, but it's been long. I think everybody's chomping at the bit to get back going now. And, our expectations haven't changed within our locker room. we were competitive last year. Nobody's satisfied with 5-5 or 1 in whatever we were in the league. So try to find that way now to take some of those mistakes and miscues throughout games, keep us in a little bit where we can get some of those one-score games to go our way. But I think we're ready and looking forward to hopefully taking that next step this fall.
Well, guys, best of luck this year, and seriously, I know it's a long drive down here, so thank you guys for coming down, and we look forward to watching you compete this fall. Best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next is Northern Michigan to the stage. All right, we bring it back to the 2024 GLIAC Media Day presented by Flow Sports. We move from one Northern team to another Northern team, and that, of course, is Northern Michigan. Head coach Shane Richardson is here, along with offensive lineman Chris Bornhoft and the linebacker Mitch Larkin. Coach, it's crazy. Last year, I felt like there was half the league were first-year head coaches, so now we have second-year head coaches. How did the first year go for you, learning and getting your experience up there?
Yeah, I think, well, thanks a lot for having us here today, Adam, and thanks for doing this. I think to go along with that question, the first year was a little bit of a learning experience for a lot of us. We kind of looked at the year as a journey of trying to figure out where we were, obviously trying to figure out where the league matched up, and, Dan talked about it earlier, but this league is extremely difficult. It's extremely competitive. It's a high-level conference, and, for our program, we're in a state right now where we're building. We're trying to get year to year, semester to semester, to just continue to improve, and we feel really good about where we are right now, and obviously going into this year, we're looking for great improvement, and so, it's a journey. It's something where you got to continue to stack days on top of each other, and you continue to grow and learn, and I feel as good as I have thus far about our team and our program with the guys coming back and the new guys that we're adding, and we're looking for a much improved season.
You mentioned that it is a journey. I mean, taking over as a program and building the blocks, similar stuff that we were just talking to with Dan about. Where do you feel like, even though the wins weren't there, that this program did improve in your first year?
Yeah, I think, you look at some of the process goals that you have, you look at some of the things that go on amongst the culture and the mentality and even the execution. And, I think after coming out of the season last year, we needed to address personnel. And I think on two fronts, you have to address your own personnel that's coming back. You have to challenge the guys that are in the program, that they're going to continue to commit to get better and see themselves as being better players as they go throughout. And then you got to go and recruit. And we were able to bring in kind of our first full class, that'll be coming in this fall. And really excited about those guys, just adding those guys to the mix, because there's going to be a lot of those guys. And we're hoping that they're going to bring some competitive depth to be able to push some guys that are on the roster. And you feel good about the message that's kind of permeating throughout everybody. And I think that's, a really big thing that's going to be a lot different this fall here coming up than it was last fall.
From what I'm reading, I think over 40 new freshmen, as you mentioned, first full class. So that's a lot of new guys that are coming into your program. So even though last year you take over and you're kind of implementing stuff, you're going to do it again this year with new guys coming in, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, the difference is that our recruiting opportunity and window was really short, when we first got there. And so That part of it was a little bit of a scramble fest, right? And now you have went through a whole cycle this past year. You're able to get out in the spring. You're able to go through summer camps and evals and get them on campus and do that the right way for official visits and everything. And then they, came to commit in, February to sign, and then now we'll get them in the fall. And so we've been able to go through a much more extensive process with those guys to feel like they really know us probably a little bit better, and we know them a little better. And I think things are just a lot more smooth in that whole culture and mentality piece in terms of who we're adding.
Two guys returning that can help build things up, sitting right next to you. Tell us about Chris and Mitch that you brought with us, and your expectations and how much they've meant to this program already coming in for your second year.
Yeah, both with really good experience, got a lot of reps last year. Chris is a guy that plays on the O-line, is an interior offensive lineman for us. Does a really good job with being able to be flexible wherever we need to move them in there. This spring, I think, really stuck out about Chris, where he was awarded numerous team awards from his teammates and his coaches, and just a worker, a guy that really kind of started to separate himself in a lot of different areas, and just can't say enough about his work ethic and just kind of what he showed this spring, and really have high expectations for what he's going to be able to do and help us to do up front coming into this fall. Mitch is a guy who got a lot of reps last year at linebacker and had a lot of tackles, and the challenge is this year for him to be able to work on some of those things and make those tackles a little closer to the line of scrimmage maybe, and be able to just be even a more just a better leader on the defense, right, and more mature. He's a guy that was young last year. He was a little bit reckless, which actually helps him. But then I think he's got a lot that he really took a big step in this spring, and he was able to kind of put together the defense better. He was able to lead guys and challenge guys more on the defensive side, and he's going to be really good for us here this year. And so looking forward to a great fall season with both of these guys.
Chris, let's start with you. What was it like to get ingrained with Coach Richardson's program, and how have you liked playing for him here this first year heading into year two?
I mean, I loved playing for him. It was really, it was like a learning experience, like Coach said. It was a big learning curve, and just, I guess, playing with a new coach is always different, but I feel like the transition was pretty smooth, and the players really started to buy in towards the end of it, and recently. So.
And you feel like, obviously, you go through kind of maybe some growing pains through that first year, but you guys are better off heading into this second year, and maybe some bigger expectations coming your way.
Oh, yeah, 100%, and we have, at least on the O-line, no seniors left. We have all returners coming back, so just big personnel. A lot of people stayed, a lot of player retention, so that's always good to look forward to.
Mitch, you had over 115 tackles last year. What gives, man? How are you getting so many tackles out there on the field?
Yeah, giving 100% every single play, it helps it. I got a great defense behind me, great coach, and yeah, every time coming out there and just giving everything you got, and everybody on the defense helps with that, having a D-line, knowing the scheme, and being in the right spot at the right time.
Coach just described you as reckless. Would you agree with that, or is that, if you're describing yourself as a player, is reckless one of the words you use?
I would say as a linebacker, you kind of have to be a little bit reckless. It's the only way to really play the game. But yeah, being reckless helps, and to end up in the right position most of the time.
Does Chris, Mitch, this is for you. I can't ask Chris this. Does Chris have the best hair on the team?
Oh yeah, we like to call him Thor.
Do you have a hammer, Chris?
Maybe.
Okay, we won't reveal too much. Mitch, let's go back to you. Tell us about this defense this year and what we can expect to see from you guys on that side of the ball.
Yeah, we got a lot of weapons. We got a lot of other good linebackers. We got a big linebacker, Jax Hertel. We got a lot of D linemen that are returning. We got a lot of incoming guys that are supposed to be big expectations for them, and it's going to be good. We got a Coach Dufresne leading us. He's got a great defensive scheme for us, and we have a lot of guys that were key players that were either injured, redshirted, that are coming back this season. So I think expectations should be high for our defense, and we got a good chance to come out and hold a lot of teams to low scores.
Chris, as you can tell, I certainly myself have never played offensive line, nor will I ever. But Coach has talked about your ability to move in different spots around the line. So people that don't understand how difficult that is, describe to us how you're able to move to different spots and still be successful in those areas doing so.
I mean, it gets pretty tricky, like moving from one side to the other side. Having 1 foot behind you it makes kind of a big difference. But the more you do it, it's like the more versatile you get, and the more like, oh, the left guard's injured and you play right guard, and you can play left guard now too. Just little things like that, it just makes it a lot easier.
Coach, we've talked about how difficult this conference is. Coming in new, trying to rebuild a program. What are realistic expectations in this grueling conference for you guys in this second year?
Sure. I think if you just look at the competitive spirit that our team needs to bring this year, I mean, that needs to be much improved. And we should be able to see that and feel that on the field week in and week out. And, if you look at some of our scores last year, and I challenged our team with this, and, we need to be better, and we need to be able to approach the opponents better. We need to be able to focus on ourselves better. There's a lot that we focused on in the offseason just to try to build that mentality. And so I think, that's kind of the biggest thing right there, is that we want to make sure that our competitive excellence is going to be in a place where we can go into a game each week and feel like we're going to be in the battle, and we're going to be able to compete and fight for 4 quarters and make sure that looks the right way. And, I think it's hard to be able to put tags on how many wins and how many, what's the record looks like and what's the numbers look like. And I think for us as a program right now, our process needs to be more on point before you start focusing on what those numbers might look like in the end. And, if you're doing things right and if you're buying into what you're doing, those results are going to take care of themselves in the end and on Saturdays.
I'm sure these two already know your expectations for them, but for us to know, what are you expecting of these two guys, two leaders on both sides of the football, for you guys to have a breakout season here in year 2?
Yeah, for sure. I think, one thing that comes to mind, and I would talk about Mitch first. This is something I told him at the end of last season. We didn't win a game last year, and you get to the end of the season, he's still a guy out there that is giving everything that he has. He's playing hard, and I recognized it late in games, late in the season. And it just makes you feel great, about him coming back and him being able to build on that. And I just think that goes so far with the leadership and how he's going to bring more guys along that can show that as well. And, that relentless tenacity, and, I use the word reckless, but he's got a lot of great characteristics that are going to help him to play really, really hard this year. And I expect him to be a great leader for our defense and to bring other guys along. And then for Chris, I think, what he was able to really do in the springtime, I just think he took such a big step in maturity where he understood how valuable his effort level on a consistent basis was. He understood how coming to practice every day and being able to set the tone as an offensive lineman and, being tough and aggressive and quick off the ball and just doing everything that you need to do to get better every day. And he didn't waver from that either. And so, I expect him to be a great leader on the offensive line as well. And I think just his sheer example, I'm hoping that a lot of other guys can look at and say, we want to make sure that our offensive line and more players on the offense are kind of adopting that. And so, I'm expecting great leadership out of those guys. And, I know that will definitely in turn benefit us on the field as well.
Chris and Mitch, last thing for you guys. You go through a season, as Coach mentioned, you don't win a game last year. I'm sure you learned something from that. You're facing adversity. It's not the way that you guys envision the season went, but maybe you strengthened yourselves from going through that adversity. What were your takeaways from last year that you can use to better yourselves and this team heading into a second season? And Chris, let's start with you.
I mean, we learned it's a tough conference. We learned it the hard way. We learned it's tough to win games, and we learned, I guess, how to win games and what it takes to win games. And we learned to put in a lot more in the off season and to just show up more than what we have been.
Yeah, I would say, wins give you momentum. So when you're in positions like that, you got to find ways to find your own motivation. And when you're going through a season like that, you have to find those little things to, all right, tough game last week, but we're coming out next week and we're coming out with that same energy. And I think it'll benefit us in this upcoming season, having that little bit of a chip on our shoulder, knowing that coming in, there might not be much expectations, but we're coming out and we're here to play, and we're here to be taken seriously.
Sounds good to me. Well, thank you guys again for coming. Look forward to seeing you guys compete. Best of luck in fall camp, and go get them this year.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Davenport's up next. Media Day presented by Flow Sports. We move to team 3 of 8 today. The Davenport Panthers, led by head coach Sparky McEwen, and he's brought defensive lineman Austin Allward and running back Myron Harris. Coach, how you doing?
Doing well. Short summer, but we're ready to get it going.
Well, tell us, these last couple of years, you guys have had success. You started 8-0 both seasons. Maybe not the finish that you wanted either one, but how are you feeling here coming into this next season in 2024?
You know, there's a lot of excitement, but as each team comes along, it's a new day. It's a new team. And those teams before, this 2024 team, they know those guys, they paved the way. Those are the guys that, put the work in. Now it's their turn, and we don't talk much about the past right now. And we return quite a few starters, to the team. And the biggest thing that we talk about is, earning respect within the culture, earning respect within, the teammates. Those things are extremely important to us, and we really feel like if we focus on that part of the process, that the rest will take care of itself.
You mentioned you don't like to talk about the past, so let's talk about the future. I want to know who you upset to get the schedule that you guys have this year.
Well, it's this conference. This conference is extremely tough, and every coach in here, they will tell you that they've made calls around the country to play different teams, and this conference historically has been unbelievable. And so, therefore, when you talk to other conferences and their coaches, it's not easy, to get opponents. So, therefore, we talked as a team and we said, well, let's go out and play the best. And so this schedule this year, when everything shakes out, is probably going to be the toughest in the country. And these guys don't fear that. These guys are actually pretty excited about it, and we talk about earning, respect, and this is the way you can get it by, scheduling tough opponents and doing well.
I think if you ask Myron, he would like to play all 11 games on the road. He likes the road warrior mentality. 7 games on the road, 4 at home. What do you think about that, Coach?
Well, once again, we didn't ask for that, but that's part of the process. We're on the road 7 times, and on top of having a really tough schedule. And so these guys know what we have in front of us. They absolutely know what we have in front of us. And last year going 8-2, and then, obviously not making the tournament, we felt like at our place that we didn't think there were 28 better football teams. That's just the way we felt. Playing teams in our conference, we have some powerhouse teams in our conference. A few of them, they went through some injuries, and they didn't have the year that they really wanted, but they were still outstanding teams, and we felt like we didn't get rewarded for those things. So that was one of the reasons we scheduled the way we did. And then going on the road, I told the players about we got 7 games on the road. We're going to get our bus miles up.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's talk about these 2 that we got next to you. You got Austin Allward and Myron Harris. Tell us about these 2 that you brought with you today.
We'll start with Austin. He's been here, 20 years at Davenport? Yeah, I was talking to someone. They said, how long has that dude been there? I said, he's been there for a while, so I think he's got like 2 or 3 degrees, but amazing young man. He came in as a receiver when he first got there to Davenport, and we felt like he can impact, this team and himself by moving to the defensive side of the ball. He's a great athlete. More important, he's a tremendous person. A great teammate. He's been a captain for us, and he's one that he's always got a smile on his face. He's always got a smile. Tough kid, 6'6". He's done weigh a lot, but he's extremely athletic and extremely tough. So it's been an honor coaching him over the past 9 years or whatever it's been. Then Myron's been a joy. Ever since he's come here, he's back of the year. Here's another one that he's a gym rat. He's always in the office. He's always wanting to get better. He's in the weight room. He's out on the hill running. One day I was walking the dogs. He's out on the hill, running. I said, is that Myron? It was Myron. So when you have seniors that's leading your football team and they have that type of work ethic, you can have nothing but success.
Austin, I want to talk a little bit about your journey because we were talking before. You started as a walk-on, and to what Coach is saying, I mean, you guys have only been D2 here for 9-10 years. It kind of feels like you've been here the whole time. Tell us about the journey and the way that you've watched this program develop over the years since you've been here.
Yeah, correct. So I did walk on in 2019 as a receiver, and was so happy to be a Panther, to be part of Davenport. And immediately I put my trust into everybody around me, and ultimately ended up exactly where I was supposed to be. So after a couple of years, getting comfortable with that position, I was able to stand up and be a leader and help the guys around me become what I wanted to be. So it was really cool to see that.
What do you think about this group heading into 2024?
I've seen some groups. Obviously over the last 6 years I've been part of Davenport, and we always have a tough schedule. We always are competing day in, day out with everything we do. And the group that we have right now loves to compete. Everything we do, with love too. It's like it shows that we care about each other. We can show love and compassion, but we can also put our heads down and get after it when we need to.
Myron, for you, same type of thing. You've had an interesting journey, a couple different stints in the GLIAC. Tell us how you ended up where you are today.
Well, the chips just fell, right where we needed them to be. Obviously I transferred inside the conference coming from, Wayne State, great school. I had a great time at Wayne. I just think this is where God wanted me to be, and obviously, the proof is in the pudding, and so far it's been great.
What can we expect from the offensive side of the Panthers? Because I know that's a side of the football that you're pretty excited about this year.
I'm electric. Just kind of going with the flow of things, kind of playing to our strengths, playing, with the pieces, like that we've added. And just kind of excited to see how we gel together, and, excited for the camp and everything.
Now, I heard a little birdie told me that one of the reasons you elected to come to Davenport is because you were sick of seeing the dude that's sitting next to you on the other side of the ball. Is there any truth to that?
That is very true. Austin had an unorthodox stance back in 2022. I just looked at him kind of, like he was crazy. But, it's a pleasure playing with Austin and, being under his leadership. He was captain last year. Kind of, just getting equipped to, Davenport and everything was a smooth transition. And just playing with Austin is nothing but a pleasure, competing with him every day and just getting better. So,
Austin, what's it like to see Myron tote the rock and kind of be a leader on the offensive side of the ball for you guys?
It's real. Every time Myron gets the ball, I know if I'm not touching him, no one's going to. And every time he touches the football, it's like he said, it's electric. He's looking to get yards. He's looking to go through people, hit the circle button, whatever he needs to do to get to that end zone, and to not have to worry about that on the other end is great.
Coach McEwen, you've got Myron, but you've also got Khalif, a couple other guys running the ball as well. It seems like that's a calling card, and that could be a big piece of your offense this year.
Well, one thing about this conference, and these coaches will tell you, is that if you look at the past national champions, GLIAC champions, you have to be able to run the football, okay? And that's the recipe to winning at a high scale. Last year, Harding, they won the national championship, and they amassed records in rushing the ball. And what we need to do in order to be successful in this conference is run the football. Having Khalif the Beef, he's, I just saw him yesterday. He looks like I think he was at 260 last year. He looks like he's 280 now. But he's told me he still has sweet feet. So, but having that 1-2 punch is extremely important to us. Because you have to have depth. One of the coaches spoke on it earlier. But in this conference, you got to be able to run the football late in October, early November. If you can't do those things, you're just going to get swallowed up in this conference. And, we lost some guys on the offensive line, but we have some guys that we've developed, through our system that I really feel that we have a tremendous amount of confidence in. And just having those guys, up front and those two kids in the backfield is going to give us a chance.
Tell us about the quarterback position, because Jason Whitaker is great, and you guys will have someone new there this year. Tell us about that spot.
Yeah, having Jason the last 2 years, obviously, it was a luxury. Having a young man transfer from Northwestern University come in and two-time, all GLIAC performer. and amass a lot of yards. Now we have a couple kids, that's going to be competing, for the job, that's, gotten it done at other places, and they know as soon as you walk in the door as a transfer, there's an expectation. Okay, there's a culture that's already in place, and there's a culture of competition. And I've never been one to play two quarterbacks, multiple quarterbacks, but now these days it seems to be the thing. I've got three. I've got three right now that I have a lot of confidence in, and they've done some really good things. We had probably our most physical spring that we've ever had. If you plan on transferring to Davenport, know this: our spring football is live, and our quarterbacks are live as well. And both those kids, all three of those kids, showed me some great things. And this fall, we're going to watch it play out. And just know this: one of the three, or two of the three, or all three, they're going to be extremely competitive for us.
Austin, is that true? Live on the quarterbacks, you get to hit them a little bit?
We were able to for the first time in a while.
What'd you think about that?
I liked it. It definitely put us where we needed to be, and just gave us a taste, so far out of the season. It gave us a taste of what we do the game for, what we play for, and it's cool to be able to complete the mission out there.
So even though I believe this is your last year, I don't think you have a 7th or 8th year of eligibility. Is that something you're going to tell Coach McEwen he's got to keep that around, the live hitting of the quarterbacks in spring ball?
Yeah, we'll have to keep that one around for at least this year.
The last couple of years, Austin, Myron, this program has won 16 games and only lost 5. You've had a winning record in the GLIAC both years, but I know that's not what you guys want. You guys want more than that. So to take that next step in the most difficult conference, Myron, let's start with you. What do you guys need to do this year to elevate?
Well, I mean, the offseason is huge, and if you're a part of any team, any program, like they'll tell you, your season is pretty much determined, like in the offseason. And one thing that we emphasized was, leadership. Spark does a great job at making sure that we understand that the best teams are the player-led teams, and being able to, just make it there and not get over that hump is something, like that we're focused on. Say like this year with the transfers that we have coming in, even with, like losing a couple guys, it's almost as if we lost nobody but gained. So, I mean, just preparing over the off season, kind of taking care of our bodies and taking things to the next level and really, dissecting our game to, make sure, in the fall, everything is nice and crispy.
Austin, can this program take that next step this year?
Yeah, I think 100%. With everything that Myron said, the work ethic and the amount of compassion that's going out on the field is tremendous. And then if you take that and you add the trust and loyalty that you have between your teammates and the coaches and the coaching staff and the athletic trainers, everybody, it just feels like we're all on the same page this year, so we're going to be able to really put something special together.
Coach McEwen, let's wrap it up with you. Your goals for this team, what are you hoping to see through the fall here?
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed with me and these guys that tell you I'm wired the same way. Is you got to compete every day, okay? And you got to buy into what we're selling. And we look for those individuals that are struggling with having that, non-ability to buy in. I think if you focus on the process of the buying of our culture, everything is going to work itself out because this conference is really, really good. And, you're going to have a little luck as well as being deep. We focused on the fundamentals this year. We focused on a lot of leadership in our senior class. I think those are the main characteristics that you need if you want to be the last man standing because, we got some powerhouse programs. It's going to take, a little more than your best, to get there. So I think if you, hold on to your focus on doing everything right every single day, you know what? If it works itself out, you can be playing in that championship game, soon.
Well, we look forward to watching you guys continue to grow your program. It's remarkable the job that you've done and the way that you guys have both represented Davenport over the years. So best of luck in fall camp, and we'll see you out there this season.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
The GLIAC is the Conference of Champions. Since its inception in 1972, GLIAC teams have won 53 national championships and countless more individual championships.
Throughout the GLIAC, passionate fans come support.
The GLIAC The GLIAC is the Conference of Champions. Since its inception in 1972, GLIAC teams have won 53 national championships and countless more individual championships.
Throughout the GLIAC, passionate fans come support our athletes in 21 NCAA-sponsored sports.
Just as important as being champions on the field.
The pool.
The court.
The course.
The track.
GLIAC student athletes are champions in the classroom and the community.
The GLIAC is.
The GLIAC is.
The GLIAC is.
The Conference of Champions. By Flow Sports, we now have Ferris State, the #1 pick in the preseason poll for the GLIAC. Head coach Tony Anise is with us, along with wide receiver Tyrese Hunt-Thompson and linebacker Sefa Sapaya. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. It's great to see you guys back up here. By the way, I know you came up a little late, but we are technically early, so that's on us.
I was on Rob. Rob said 2 o'clock. So I was taking a little break outside, and then they yelled at me.
Rob Bentley, we're coming for your head, man. Tell us about this group that you got here in 2024.
You know, the challenge we face is obviously coming off back-to-back national championships, and then not doing that. And so, a lot of people doubting, what course we're on. Are we still growing as a program? Are we, too complacent? I was one that really had to do an evaluation on that. We talked a lot about accountability in the off season and spent a lot of time just evaluating things. And I think our guys have done what they needed to do to just be prepared for this year, and that's all I can ask. Not to say the preseason poll means anything, because it means 0 to us, and everybody should vote for Grand Valley. They're the back-to-back GLIAC champs and deserve that kind of recognition. I don't know how it gets bestowed on us, but and it's Sefa Sapaya. I've never said his name right. You were way off.
I was way off.
Yeah, but,
I'm really incoming for Rob now. Say it for me again. I apologize.
Sapaya.
Okay, I apologize.
Sir.
What does it say, though, about this program to say, you guys have an 8-3 season, 5-1 in the GLIAC, that you're questioning complacency and stuff like that, to know that that's a bad season, when many would think that's a pretty darn good season, where this program is elevated to?
It's just what you do when it isn't perfect. There's other programs in this room that have done the same thing, that just outstanding programs that just have to always go back and reevaluate. And sometimes from our perspective, sometimes you're like, everything's perfect. You won in 2021, you won in 2022, everything's perfect. And so it really isn't, and it never is. And so it really just causes you to go back and take looks at things that you need to do to continue to grow your program. And that happens at all levels and all sports, and so that's what we did. Spent a lot of time on leadership. Spent a lot of time on me being to my assistants, and just trying to elevate the things we can do to help prepare our men for the best they can give us this fall.
Tell us about these two that you brought with you today.
So Tyrese, I'll start with him. He's been an all-conference player for a few years. Outstanding receiver. We've worked really hard for him to have the mentality he needs to have to be great. I coach him very, very hard, to the degree that I always say, if one of your goals is to be in the NFL, then I'm going to try to drive you like, NFL players have to be driven to be great. he's got a lot of talent, and he's a super young man, but gets caught up in the fray sometimes emotionally, and we've worked on that hard. But I'm really, really proud of the man he's become. Sefa is a super young man, always been the best he can be. 2 years ago, he was scout team linebacker, and I would always say to the defensive coaches, I mean, we can't do anything. We can't block Sefa. I mean, why is he still on scout team? And it took him a while, which is the beauty of it, that, you know, he's patient enough to say, you know, I'm going to stay with the process. And, you know, unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of people don't stay with the process. They hit the portal, or they quit. And so, really proud of him for that. He's been you know, a fighter in our program and represents the things that we really want represented.
Sefa, where did that mindset come from, to not just give up and go all out on the scout team to eventually earn the spot that you now have coming into this season?
It's really from my family. You know, my parents, my culture comes from a very proud family. Our last name means everything to us. So everything that you do on and off the field, that's how you carry yourself. That's pretty much what it is, of the mindset, how I attack everything. So I would say my family, my parents.
What's it been like, Sefa, one more for you, playing in this program and the expectations that Coach Anise and all the other coaches have set for you guys to have great years, year in and year out?
You know, I think we don't let it get to us for sure. We just go out there and be the best we can be every day, every week. You know, I think I'm just blessed to be a part of a program that's, you know, have a history of winning, and I think my teammates feel the same way. So we just want to live up to the expectations of others, but most importantly ourselves.
Tyrese, how have you grown since you got to Big Rapids to now?
I've grown a lot. I mean, when I first came here, I was a young, scrawny little kid that really didn't know anything for real. So they taught me a lot. I'm thankful for TA and the coaching staff. I'm a young, good man.
What's it like with Coach Anise? As he said, he pushes you because you have high expectations of yourself. I'm sure sometimes you maybe get a little frustrated, but obviously his interest is the best in yours. What's it like to get pushed by him and play for him?
It's difficult at times, but that's what you want from your coach, from somebody that loves you. At the end of the day, it's all love. I know he's pushing me to be my best, so I don't take it. Sometimes he gets on me a lot, but I try not to take it personal and just hear him out and keep playing football.
Are you ever allowed to get on him a little bit, or is this a one-way street?
I mean, I have my comments back to him sometimes, and he'll just ignore me and tell me to be quiet, but it's mostly him.
Head coach, you kind of got to listen to it.
You got to listen to the head man.
Sefa, tell us about this defense. What can people expect to see when they come out to see Ferris State's defense this year?
You know, I think we got a lot of returning guys, and I think it's going to be really great for us to just be out there and really show everyone like what we can do. I think there's going to be some questions about us, you know, but we have a lot of good guys that are going to be there, and I think it's going to be a hungry team, hungry defense, and just, you know, just come and smack people in the mouth.
On the other side, Tyrese, this offense has always been, it seems like, really explosive. We're going to see that same type of stuff, do you think, this year?
We should. I guess we shall wait and see.
Okay, fair enough. I think Coach likes that answer. Tell us your expectations this year, Coach. What you're hoping to see in fall camp, and then once you get into the grind of non-con, and then this GLIAC slate that you have this season.
Well, we played Pittsburgh State first, to preseason number 2 in the nation. So that's incredible, right? Because really you have to just come every day ready to go. And a lot of times in fall camp, you don't really have that, you know, that hammer to say, hey, you got to be ready, you play whoever, right? But the whoever may not be all that good or didn't have a great year the year before. We've experienced that the last couple of years, where our opener wasn't the greatest opponent from their previous year. So that's important. So I can really just, you know, put the hammer down and say, hey, we play Pittsburgh State. And then after that, you know, coaches are going to say, man, if you get by a win like that, I mean, that's huge, right? So coach mentality is different than fan mentality. So if we're 1-0, oh my gosh, I mean, that'd be incredible. Then you just kind of stick with the process, trying to get the guys to stay locked in. You don't become a great program without that mentality. And I'm proud of our program. We're probably one of the few programs that sent a kid to a Power 5 program. Connor Neer went to Oklahoma and played there as a junior and came back to Ferris for his senior year. So really proud to say that, because when you're running out there, I think they got a horse and buggy and all kinds of stuff in Oklahoma, and you got all that hype. Maybe you say, oh, it's cool just to be a part of that, but he came back and wants to be a part of us, and so we're really proud to have him back as well.
It's got to be cool too. He's a part of those championship teams to get that type of experience back when, as you mentioned, you want to move away from a potential complacent or not the season that you were expecting to have and get back on track this year. I'm sure he's going to help.
Yeah, he will, and he's a really good leader too. So leadership's been really something we've spent a lot of time talking about, to have the guys, the followers to follow well. And this is a deal where young people don't really logically understand it, but I'm telling my guys right now, if you just want to be a follower, that's great. Just follow really well. And then if you want to lead, here's the things you need to do to lead. And so I think we're in a better place when it comes to that as well.
When people talk about the GLIAC, they talk about the rivalry between Ferris and Grand Valley. And I'm sure that's an extremely competitive, difficult game every year. But to some sense, do you enjoy having that competitive rivalry with a team that I'm sure makes you guys better as you guys butt heads year in and year out? And just like last year, sometimes play them 2 times in a season?
They complete us. I mean, it's just, the bottom line is they complete us. I admire them and I hate them at the same time. When I say hate, it's not a bad way. Coach Wooster and I have known each other for a long time, but like, I was rooting for them in the playoffs. So there's a level of, obviously, we need each other. I wish that, and everybody in this room wishes that, the fans would be more civil, because I think the players have a lot of admiration for one another. I know the coaches do. And so, but it's obviously, a great deal. But it is what it is. Whenever the date is, I said this last year too, whenever the date is, we get to go to Grand Valley again. So whenever the date is, we show up and we play. And the only down part, obviously, is we've played them, 6 times in 3 years, right? And so that's hard. It makes the game, Jim Lewis is a great D coordinator, and he knows our offense better than I know my offense sometimes, So it's hard that way. In this decade, they've beaten us 3 times. We've beaten them 3 times. We've won 2 national championships, a GLIAC championship. They've won 2 GLIAC championships. So it's obviously a high level of achievement for both programs. And so, yeah, we really do need each other. And so it's really a cool thing for West Michigan to have that. And just bragging on West Michigan, but Davenport as well. I mean, it's been great to have 3 outstanding programs in West Michigan. It's pretty incredible.
Tyrese and Sefa, there are some great rivalries in the Midwest, in many sports, specifically in football, and there are great rivalries in this state in many sports in football. For people that haven't played in the Anchor Bone game, tell us what makes this rivalry so unique. Sefa, let's start with you.
I think just being from a small town, like your fans are just so invested into each team, and when the day comes and everyone's you just feel the energy every single time. So people might think that it's a D2 and it's a small game, not a people show up, but it's definitely what you find in there, especially being at Grand Valley Stadium. It's a big stadium, we always fill it out every year. So it's always just a blessing to play in that game every year.
Tyrese?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's great rivalries in the Midwest in this state, but many people, I feel like, may not pay as close attention as they should to this one. It's very big here on the west side of the state, and people certainly have heard of it, but in your minds, what makes this rivalry so unique with Grand Valley State and you guys?
I personally would say, once you learn about the history and everything, and how people have fought to win this game, and how much it means to them, it kind of just caters to you. Because as a freshman, I didn't know anything about Grand Valley or Ferris State really. It was just, I'm learning from the older guys, so to see how much they care about it and stuff like that, kind of just, it's a trickle effect and it comes down to the young people too.
Coach, I want to slip in one question to you about Roosevelt, because you've been in this league for a long time. You've seen the evolution of teams come, teams go, and they are the 8th team to be added. What do you think of another member coming in to compete in football in this great conference?
It's a blessing. We really appreciate Roosevelt coming into the conference. It's awesome. We need to grow this conference. I know Chris is that's been her charge from the beginning, to try to just grow teams, and to pull that one off is incredible for our league, because it's hard, man. It's hard. I mean, every head coach out there could say, oh my gosh, I mean, it's so hard to get non-conference games. So it was a blessing that the NCAA basically opened us up to have a 0 week, so that we have 12 days for 11 games. So it's the first time we'll have 11 games since 2018 in the regular season. And so that's incredible for us. And then knowing that Roosevelt came in, and they're a good program. We've studied them, and they've done a really nice job. And so it's just a blessing for us to have them in. And anybody else out there, wherever that camera is, that wants to join the GLIAC, Chris and I will meet with you.
Last question for you. You mentioned it, Pittsburgh State. That's a great program. They're your first game coming up in late August. So you've got fall camp to get ready for them, and then boom, it's game 1. What are you looking to see in fall camp to get your guys prepped for another season here to play those guys first?
Oh my gosh, I love that, right? You got, fall camp with that first game being such a big game. So, when I hit the field on August 7th, even I, will be a little bit on edge as far as just, having the mindset to be prepared to be the best we can be, because, they're a super program. Last year they got knocked off by Grand Valley in the playoffs in a really good game. The year before that, they got knocked out by us 17-14 at Big Rapids. So, so they've come to the state of Michigan the last couple of years and played us too, and now we got to go to Pittsburgh, Kansas, and it's just going to be a war. And so I like it. I really think it's important to play very competitive early games. I know Grand Valley played Mines 2 years in a row in the first week, and it's just a super game. So I advocate to play people like that every year. We've got a 2-year contract, which is awesome. They get to come back, and just having opportunities to play great opponents is really that's what the young men play for. They want to play against great opponents, and so we're excited about it.
Well, thanks so much, guys. We look forward to watching you two compete this year against those great opponents on your schedule, and best of luck all season long. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
The team that completes Ferris State, Grand Valley State, you're up next. GLIAC Media Day, presented by FloSports. And now we turn our attention to the Grand Valley State Lakers, led in his second season by head coach Scott Wooster. Offensive lineman Gabe Brown this year, along with defensive back Ian Kennelly. Coach, talk to a couple of the other first-year head coaches. I know you have been a part of the program at Grand Valley, but taking over, being the head man, what'd you learn?
We have this adage in coaching, you talk about the greatest growth being between week 1 and week 2, right? And I think it's the same thing as in this role, the greatest growth from year 1 to year 2. And you can look at a whole bunch of things from operations to recruiting and all those things. And I've taken a deep dive and evaluated every part of that, year 1. But what it comes down to is the finish. And it was 6-7 in the regional championship game. And we're going to talk about in a second. There's been a tremendous amount of discipline for me personally, as well as our football team, to move forward. But it is haunting. So, yeah, there's that element of the growth in year 2, right? And how much better can we be? Just a huge growth mindset, evaluating every single area of this football program, and that starts with me. So, yeah, excited about year 2, excited about 2024, and just, the excitement of coaching a team with 20 seniors. We got a couple fourth-year guys that played as true freshmen, a couple of guys that were kind of my first recruits or first recruiting class, 6-year guys, 5th-year guys, transfers, just a group you love, so group that I love dearly. So, yeah, year 2, let's do it. It's a couple weeks away.
Yeah, it's coming up here. And it's, again, I feel like I just talked about this, but the expectations, you guys go 11-2, you go 6-0 and repeat as GLIAC champs, and it's the slimmest of margins to the national champs Harding. You lose 7-6, the game you're talking about, but that has created a hunger for you guys coming in, knowing, one, you're an offensive guy, you guys had a great offense last year, and you said it, you didn't get an offensive touchdown in that game. It's a long off season, but that's a game I'm certain that is going to motivate you guys to try and, again, elevate your program to where it once was, winning national championships.
No question, Adam. I've been at this a long time, 25 years, like you said, career offensive coach, and I think that was the first time we didn't score an offensive touchdown in a game I coached. So, yeah, there is that haunting feeling, but again, the discipline to move on and grow and get better. But I think there is that element of a little chip on your shoulder, a little hunger, right? And a little hunger. And I think our senior class particularly has embraced that for a lot of reasons, and I love it. I absolutely love it because I've always been the underdog. Through youth football, through high school football, college football, we were never that team, that program, and then you get to Grand Valley State that has all the resources, has all the support, has the pride, has the tradition, and I truly believe if you're an underdog mentality with those things, really special things can happen, and that's exactly what we're after.
Can you really be an underdog if you're Gabe Brown sized over there? Because I'm struggling to see him as an underdog.
How good he looks too. That is a good look, man.
But tell us about these two. First with Gabe, and then with Ian sitting to your left.
Yeah. So you asked that question. It was just today's Thursday. We talked a couple of days ago, I think. So I was on the phone with an NFL scout talking about our pro prospects, and started talking about Gabe and Ian. And like Ian Kennelly, he plays our field safety, and we asked an incredible amount out of our field safety and our defense. He's going to spin down, play the slot man coverage. We play a ton of man coverage. We've got multiple coverages. We have every spin known to man in the back end of the defense, and he communicates all that. He's an extension coach Postman in the back end of the defense. He's a leader. I can't say enough about, and that's what I was going on and on to this scout. Like he's a culture, not just a validator, but he's a culture driver. Like he not just validates our culture, but he drives it, and he pushes it. He holds guys accountable. He's got a tremendous family, great people in his circle, and the scout says back, well, man, he must be tough to coach. And I said, yeah, let's put 25 or 30 of those guys in the field, and you got a football team, and we do have that. But Ian leads that. Same exact thing with Gabe Brown. Gabe Brown, special on the football field. Again, career offensive line coach, offensive line guy that I haven't seen an offensive lineman be able to transition from guard to tackle. He could play center, but we've got an elite center in Kyler Blake Jones. He could play all five, and he could play all five in one drive. The way this guy processes the game of football, how important it is to him. And again, another not just culture validator, but culture driver. He advances our culture. He's a team guy in every way, shape, or form. Tremendous family. Again, just out of this world guys, out of this world people that I love dearly, and they love their teammates and they hold them accountable. So, yeah, how long do we got? Talking about Gabe, talking about Ian, talking about guys like this. But yeah, just impressive human beings, plans for the future. Anytime, shoot a text out, hey, we need guys to go to this community engagement or this. I mean, they're the first ones to answer, and they're the first ones there. And just amazing human beings and amazing football players and amazing students. So, and right?
Okay, keep going.
That's these guys.
Gabe, let's start with you. In your mind, what makes a successful offensive line?
I think the main part of being a successful offensive line is just playing together. Coach Wilson always talks about the fish, 5 people playing as one. It's kind of hard to punch somebody with one finger sticking out or 2 fingers sticking out. If you punch somebody with a closed fist, they're going to feel it. So being able to play together, it goes with communication, chemistry, and then I like to say, just being cool. We're always together. The line's always together, and you see that on the field. The way we can communicate, hold each other accountable, and just pick each other up when we're down, have each other's backs if someone's not doing so hot. So.
How cool is it to be able to learn from somebody that's, as he tapped himself, an offensive line guy and an offensive line coach? I mean, that's got to be awesome to have that type of mentor helping you guys progressively get better.
Yeah, Moose is a guy. The reason I'm at Grand Valley, I just wanted to be coached by Coach Wooster. Can't ask for a better line guy at the D2 level, probably in college football, period. So, what this guy means to me, what this guy means to our room is, you can't really put it into words. It's been extremely special to have a guy that looks out for the Hogs as the head coach. It's not super common, so.
Ian, tell us about how you've grown in your time at Grand Valley State. As coaches mentioned, you kind of take on the leadership role and running things on the defensive side. So tell us how you got to that spot.
Yeah, so I came in 2019. It's been quite a journey here in 2024 now. Redshirted as a freshman, and then COVID hit in 2020. I try to grow every day. Every day I show up, I try to get better. I try to get my teammates better. Just have that, that growth mindset of just show up every day, get 1% better. But it took a big step this offseason, trying to step into that leadership role. Had a great senior class last year, only 1 year under All-American linebacker Abe Swanson, who really was just a tremendous leader and really just, led our defense for the past 3 seasons. So it was really easy for me to just kind of sit back and just kind of like Coach Wooster was talking about, just follow his leadership and, really just kind of lead those DBs and just kind of take care of them on 2 square yards. But yeah, stepping into a bigger leadership role this year, and it's been challenging at times, but it's a challenge that I take head on, and it's an area in my life that I want to grow in. So.
I like talking with Coach Wooster on the phone because we talk ball, we talk personnel, right? And he's telling me about how you guys run a lot of man-to-man. You're down and you cover the slot receiver, but then you have multiple formations as well. Take us through the personnel side, right? Because you're communicating, but you're also in different roles defensively. How have you adapted to be able to play all those different roles?
Yeah, it's they, like Coach Wooster said, they ask a lot of not just the free safety, but also the boundary safety and just our defense as a whole. But I give credit to just the coaches, getting us prepared every week. We take plenty of reps in practice to really get that down. And also I give credit to Ferris State back there. They're part of the reason why we have to change our coverages up so much, because they do so much on the field to challenge us. But yeah, I think the more roles that you can do on a football field, you just make yourself that much more valuable. So I just try to take that on and take that challenge, personal, and I just try to do everything that the coaches ask of me and even above and beyond that. So.
Coach, you brought it up, and I know I asked Tony and Ferris State about this, but that rivalry, it's so fun for everybody to watch it, and the way you guys make each other better and have these epic battles, and it's weird how they do playoffs, and you guys are seeing them potentially in the first round a lot, but you're playing each other twice often. Tell us about that game and what they have done to make you a better program.
It's what college football is all about. I mean, it's a reason a lot of us go to Ferris, came to Grand Valley State is to play in those games and that rivalry. I think I've said this multiple times as I grew up in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, right? Woody and Bo at that time. And it's what college football is all about. And our proximity, the recruiting battles, obviously Coach Anise and I go way back to the 80s. So there's so much in that, and then you get into the anchor bone itself, right? And the cycles of Ferris State at their heyday, and then the rise of Brian Kelly, and just the cycles of it and everything else. And you talked about in this decade, dead even. But it is. Ian Kennelly just talked about it. Like when you're playing a team twice, it doesn't matter who it is, but particularly when they're in the top 5 in the country and it's a rivalry game, the stakes are extremely high, but you know them, they know you. And there's the art of war, right? Do we attack them with the same game plan? What do you change? How do you attack this week? So that part just is awesome as a coach, awesome as a player to go in those weeks and play those chess games even before the game is played, right? In the preparation. So that's what it's all about. Live for it.
For you guys, we talked a little bit about it, that game against Harding and your great season. And you guys, again, you have to go through your rival in the opening round, and you play in Harding, you guys are leading that game. They clip you late, 7-6. How much motivation does that give you guys heading into this season, knowing that the standard at Grand Valley is to win national championships? Gabe, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, from an offensive guy, 7-6 game, you really feel like you let the defense down. Just trying to make sure that never happens again. Never having to look the guy Ian Kennelly in the face or look defensive seniors in the face, like Colton Heibel, second one, never looked in the face like, we really kind of dropped the ball and you got to did your thing. Keeps you up late at night, thinking about it all off season until you can get back out there. It's a huge motivating factor for this year. Make sure that never happens again.
Ian, how much has last year driven you to work even harder heading into this season?
Yeah, I'll say this, going into my senior year, this is really my last chance to win that national championship, to get out of Super Region 3 and just even compete in the semis and the finals. But even more so, we've been talking about it all day with how good the GLIAC is. And week 2 we go out and play Colorado Pueblo. Week 4 we play West Florida. And then with the GLIAC gauntlet, and then Super Region 3, that gauntlet that you got to go through. We know that we're going to face many challenges, and we're going to have to beat a lot of good football teams to get to that point that we want to get to. So it's really just, you got to take it week by week, and you can't sleep on any one opponent. But yeah, that loss last year, that last one, it hurts, but I think even more so, you just got to be prepared for everyone on your schedule, because that's just how competitive, Division II football is in this league.
Coach Wisser, you talked about it. You guys had a good class last year that graduated, a lot of playmakers that were in those positions. And you said, we've got great depth. We've got guys that are ready to take those opportunities and seize them. And that's why you feel there's a little bit of an underdog role this year. So tell us about what you're looking forward to with this new personnel that we'll see this year, but experienced guys that you've seen in practice that now can take that under the lights in games.
There's no question, Adam. And we talked about Cade, Abe, and Christian Garrett. Like they played so much football, they led for so long, and I think when that happens, there's could be a void of leadership, could be a void of playmaking. The awesome thing about this group, again, getting off 23 and having the discipline to get back onto 24. This group, I never felt that void. Never felt that void of leadership because of Ian and Gabe, Kyle, all these guys. But then in terms of the production, the execution as well, right? We put a tape on, if you guys remember this, the first day we were back, we put a highlight tape on, right? And first question I asked the team was, what do you see on that tape? And it took a couple, but finally somebody said, yeah, that's us. The guys in this room are making those plays. So we've had a lot of guys on this current roster that make not just big plays, but big plays and big moments. And then there's a lot of guys that have deep levels of belief that they will make those plays, and they have the talent and skill to do it. So now it's, again, the focus on camp, right? As guys are finishing up this summer, focus on camp and just that growth mindset of being the best version of ourselves, right? being the best version of this. We only got version 53, 2024 of this is the best version of Grand Valley State football. And to do that, you got to be better every single day. So, yeah, super excited. And again, it's a different group of seniors, but a deep group of seniors and an awesome roster.
Last question here for Gabe and Ian. Your goals this year, whether they're individually, team, both. Ian, let's start with you. What are your goals this year? As you mentioned, your last opportunity to put on that uniform.
I mean, I think it's pretty simple for me. Win every game, win the conference, win the region, and then ultimately win the national championship. That's the only, in a team game, I think winning is, should be the only goal, in my mind. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we've been working for since late June as a team, is to just win every game.
Gabe, how about for you?
Yeah, for me it's simple. It's the last ride, last chance I'm gonna get to put on the Grand Valley State Laker uniform. So come December, I just want to make sure that my tank is on E, to give everything I got. Obviously, got here 3 years ago and set out on a mission, and we're yet to achieve that mission, winning the national championship. So obviously that's the main goal. Everything that comes before the GLIAC, the undefeated regular season, we want all that. Really want to finish that mission before I get out of here.
Coach, last question. You said it. You learned the most about yourself. You take that biggest step from week 1 to week 2. You compared it to year 1 to year 2 as a coach. What will you take from last year and how will you apply it to elevate potentially this program back to where you want to get to?
Well, it comes right back to the things we're talking about, and we talk about discipline all the time in our program, and our definition of discipline is the training, seeking knowledge, the learning, right? It's not necessarily obedience or consequences or those things a lot of times people talk discipline about. So it is the training, and it is because we are competitors, and we talk about national championships, and we talk about those games from last year, but the training of ourselves just to be the very best version of ourselves week in and week out, right? We've got a one-for-one mentality. We talk about perfection as one-for-one. The next thing in front of us, and the next thing in front of us, guys they got a couple workouts left, and then camp, right? And then camp preparing us for week 1, and then week 2 going one-for-one repeatedly. And so for me, that growth of just staying true and disciplined to that, because when we do that, with the resources and support, the players we have in our building, our coaching staff, our people. You win with people. When we do that, we can be at our very best. And Adam, I got one more, if you don't mind. I got to say this, because this room, this is awesome. And I was walking out of here last year and just kind of reflecting on this. Obviously, first time head coach, first time ever doing one of these. And what an awesome room. Like last year, there were 7 or 8 guys I counted that I was in schools or living rooms recruiting. There's 5 or 6 guys out here today, a couple guys that I recruited and signed. And it's just such a special room. The coaches, again, already talked about the coaching needs go back 30-something years, but Coach Metlack, Coach Richardson, Coach Brady, myself all played in this league. The continuity with Coach McEwen and Coach Wheatley now at my alma mater, Wayne State, Roosevelt coming in, but just what a special room, man. Like, it's such a cool feeling, and why we have just such deep love for the GLIAC is because of this room, and it's people. Right? It's relationships, getting to know guys through recruiting, getting to know professional connections with the coaches. It's just awesome. So welcome, Roosevelt, part of a lead company and awesome room. So just had to say that. So I don't know the question, but just had to share that.
You're saying what we're all thinking. That's why we love this conference, and we can't wait for another year. Thank you guys for joining us. Bonus points for Coach Wooster. Great socks. Anchor up. Those are awesome. Look forward to seeing you guys compete this year, and good luck on your goals.
Thank you.
Flow Sports. This is exciting. The newest and 8th member of this conference football side, Roosevelt University, another Lakers to the football side. And on the other side of the lake, as you guys come from Chicago, we've got head coach Jared Williamson, defensive lineman Luke Deschereaux, and wide receiver Keontae Nixon joining us up here. Coach, let's just start with this. How the heck did you guys get here?
I think you got to ask our Vice President Mike Cassidy. He knows a lot more in terms of how it started, but I think the institution has really made a couple exciting plans for the future, moves for the future with our tuition for everybody, and in terms of lowering that after COVID, and then obviously the move to the NCAA and Division II. So I think just providing opportunities, not only by our location, but by our future plans was something that the institution made clear, and it was just exciting to be part of it.
We've heard it. You guys have a great program. You're moving from NAIA up to Division II in a great conference. How excited are you to be a part of the GLIAC now?
Competition is always exciting. That's part of why you get into this as a player, as a coach. So obviously joining an elite group of institutions and coaches and players will be challenging, but competition is always a really exciting part of this profession.
Tell us about the two guys that you brought with you today.
Absolutely. Both Chicagoland guys. I think that's, originally starting the program from scratch, the exciting part was to have a bunch of Chicagoland student athletes from different institutions know each other indirectly because of competition, because of camps, because of 7-on-7s. And our drive up here was kind of an example of that. We walk into the lobby and see a couple students from another institution, but both Chicagoland guys, and they immediately struck up the conversation. So Luke Deschereaux, he's a new student athlete to our program, a transfer, a graduate transfer, and Keontae Nixon. Both just outstanding young men, very caring young men, both of them with a lot of different experiences at the college level that they'll bring to our university. Keontae in his second year, Luke in his first year. Just excited for them to be part of what we think is a really good group this year.
Luke, let's start with you. What made Roosevelt a destination that you wanted to transfer into and be a part of?
Truthfully, my name is Coach Williamson and staff. They're very youthful, but they have experience. Coach Williamson's been the head coach for 15 years? He's only 42 years old. So the rest of the staff are, late 20s, early 30s. A lot of former players. It just felt like they get it. Felt like they're passionate, youthful, and being able to ball in my hometown. I'm from Chicago, playing for my friends and family. It's really exciting.
Kind of cool to rep Chicago and Illinois in a Michigan-based conference as you guys move to Division II?
Yes, sir, man. Chicago, high school football in Chicago, Catholic leagues. It's tough football, so I'm excited to represent it.
Keontae, you don't remember this, but I got a chance to watch you in 2019 at Central Michigan. I saw you flashing out there, a wide receiver for Coach Mack and the Chips. Tell us about your journey, because you're unique. You were a little injured in between, and you had to rehab to get yourself ready for a big year last year and now into your second season. So take us through where you were and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, starting at Central Michigan, it was a blessing. And I got to a point where I felt like I wanted more. I wanted to explore more. So we had coaching changes at Central Michigan and stuff like that. So after my second year, I decided to transfer to a junior college in Texas. And tragically got hurt there. I fractured my foot. And I was off for 2 years. I was working 9 to 5. Like, I was a regular person, and I just always kept my mindset that if it's meant to be, it will be. Because I feel like everything happens for a reason. And one day, one of my teammates from Central Michigan actually called me, and he was like, "Do you want to play football anymore?" I'm like, "Of course. Like, why would I not?" And he had just got an offer from Roosevelt to go play there, and it was close to home, and I never played this close to home, and I jumped at the opportunity, and I ran with it.
How good did it feel last year, getting out on the field and making an impact? Coach was talking to me recently about how you were making big play after big play. I mean, how good did that feel after, all of the adversity and being out of football for just a touch to get back in it and become a playmaker immediately?
I think it just goes to show that I did put in work, and I was working for everything that I wanted, and I show my skill set and to show the world that I still have it, and I'm going to continue to have it.
Coach, tell us about this group this year and what you're excited about with this football team coming into 2024.
I know it's obviously a different level, different governing body, but hosting the conference championship game last year is an exciting thing, and to lose that game motivated a lot of our returning student athletes, but also moving into this conference and moving up a level was exciting to add a lot of quality student athletes as well. So, like obviously many of the coaches understand in the transfer portal world, your team is different every year, so it's a brand new start, a brand new group to work with, and I think from top to bottom and in all areas, academically, athletically, socially, I think it's a phenomenal group we have, and they get to do something no one ever's done in the program, and obviously play our first official Division II football game in a brand new conference. So I know they'll have a lot of energy. We're excited to get started off to a later start than usual because of the schedule, but exciting nonetheless. I think it's going to be a lot of competition.
You are familiar with new. You helped start this football program, and then you helped merge what was then Robert Morris University in Illinois to now Roosevelt University, and now you merged into Division II. Do you feel like one, changes just seem to follow you, and two, experienced in changes, and that can help you handle this new situation this year?
I think I was telling Mike earlier, and really all throughout this process, kind of feels like you're starting from scratch again in a different way. And I think the experience of doing that made some mistakes, and hopefully, obviously, learn from those and make sure those don't happen again, but also learn from the things we did well. And so I think we're prepared to go through the experience. Regarding the multiple changes that happened, I just think that's life. I think, whether it was the pandemic, universities merging, you kind of never know. I used to have a notebook, a long to-do list. Now I just make it a note card because the to-do list changes so often because you just never know what's going to come your way. So I think that's just part of really higher education right now and in general, and all the different movement that's happening. And I just think it's been, all the changes have really been a blessing, and if a lot of those didn't happen, it wouldn't have led to this opportunity.
Luke, do you like kind of being the new kids on the block and kind of coming in this role with nobody really knowing who you guys are, and you have the opportunity to prove yourselves this season?
For sure. I mean, you might not like it, but we got to embrace it. We're ranked 8th. I don't think that's accurate, but it was expected. Being, like you said, the new kid. So I think the goal is just to come in, compete, show the conference that we're not number 8.
Same question for you, Keontae. What do you think about coming into a new conference here and having an opportunity to show this conference who you guys are?
I'm thankful for the opportunity to do this, and I'm happy that I have the ability to play such good competition and go against such great coaches. So I'm just blessed.
Tell us about the offense. Keontae, back to you. What we can expect from you guys and what you're excited about on that side of the football for Roosevelt this year.
Our plan is to go 11 for 11, have everybody on the same page and communicate in order to make less mistakes and be in a game with everybody in the conference. We need to be competing. So just want to focus on details and work hard.
Luke, similar question for you. What kind of defense do you hope that the Lakers have this season?
Ferocious defense. You can expect pursuit, relentless effort, and just playing hard-nosed, gritty ball.
Coach, kind of want to wrap it up with expectations this year. I know you got a lot that you have coming back that is talented, and you've talked about it. It doesn't seem like there's a ton of difference when you get out of the top kind of power conferences in college football, whether it's D2, D3, NAIA. How do you make this transition and go out there and bring a competitive team in year one?
At the end of the day, again, it's coming from a really good conference, knowing that this is just an outstanding group of competitors. You just focus on your own performance standard. You know each week, if you play quality, you're going to have a chance to win that game. And if you make a lot of mistakes, you're going to have a chance to lose, and sometimes lose badly. And so we just focus on our own preparation. I think it teaches the young men a lot about their own approach in life, whether it's academically, just to focus on the task at hand and make sure they're taking care of their own business, and measure that every day. Sometimes you win football games and each position you grade out poorly, and so it's our job to focus on
how we graded out, even though it was nice to win. And so I think we just focus on our own performance and we'll be okay.
Luke, Keontae, curveball for you. There's a lot of Michiganders in this room that need to know about the greatness of Chicago. What is something in Chicago that Michiganders need to experience or maybe try food-wise? What do you got for me?
The pizza, man, the deep dish and the terrace style. Gotta try it.
Yeah, I've been taking that because deep dish is one of the best things ever made.
Deep dish, not Detroit style though, Chicago style.
Definitely not Detroit style.
Okay, you guys might want to hustle out of the room. Those are kind of fight words. Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to the conference, and look forward to seeing you guys compete this year in the playoff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Couple teams left to go here as this is 2024 Football GLIAC Media Day presented by FloSports. Now we've got Saginaw Valley State University, the Cardinals up here, head coach Ryan Brady, got the linebacker Micah Kretzinger, and the offensive lineman Connor Cracchiolo. Did I get that right? Okay, I was practicing it on the way over here. Coach, you guys have taken some massive steps in your time now. How are you feeling coming into 2024?
I feel great, mainly because of guys like this that are sitting up here with me. And these two have been special. They've been with me for a long time, and so but we've got a lot more great ones at home, and proud of the work these guys have put in. And it's been a great 7 months. We're really focused on taking this program from good to great. You know, we've had 3 winning seasons in a row. It hasn't been done in 10 years in Saginaw, and so but there's a lot of work to do. And you know, our expectations are extremely high, and, you know, we want to be the best, and so, you know, that's why these guys are still here, and, you know, they got work they want to finish, and so excited about these 2 guys, going to be 2 great seniors, and expecting an awful lot of them.
I know you said it, it's not where you want to ultimately end up, but still 3 winning seasons in a row, that is really impressive. What has been the main key or the parts to get you to this part of the program to now hopefully elevate you to the next step?
Yeah, you know, we just focus on people, and we recruit great people, like-minded people. That's what makes, you know, having guys like this up here so special is, you know, just enjoyed every minute of the car ride over with these guys. We spent all day yesterday with each other, and it's just like, just being around people that you admire and that inspire you, and these guys inspire me. You know, I told them yesterday, you know, they said, what's your why, Coach Brady? I said, my why is you guys, it's the players. And so I feel great about the people we have in the building, the coaches. You know, we got a new athletic director, John Lewandowski, and so there's been new leadership, and you know, everyone has felt his leadership, and the players are talking about the ride over there. Just things are different, the expectation is standard, and that's just really cool to see.
Okay, tell us about these 2. You got one on offense, one on defense. What do we need to know?
Yeah, I'll start with Connor first. So Connor was part of my first recruiting class, and so recruited in 2020, and he's going to be a 4-year starter this year, and just it's been unbelievable to watch him grow and develop as a man. He's a great football player, but even a better person, and he's going to be a teacher someday. He wants to get into coaching, and so I love that. And so really proud of him. Hopefully I can keep him around with me for a few more years. That'll be my goal. And so, but Connor and I have a great relationship, and he's worked really hard, and you know, he's probably going to have every opportunity to play at the next level, and I totally expect him to be able to do that and to continue his dream. And so, you know, I love him like a son. And you know, Micah obviously had a breakout, unbelievable year. You know, he's an All-American and just put up incredible numbers. But you know, Mike has been an All-American since the day I walked in the door in 2019. He came in when I came in, and he's been the same person, you know, in 19 that he is now. He's just a little bigger, a little faster, a little stronger, a little wiser, and so you know, it's been really fun. He's been he's had to be really patient as well. He played behind an NFL linebacker for 2 years, and so, and now I think he surpassed Trevor. He set a new standard now, so we're proud of him. And guys like Brandon Rawls, for daily back home, are like, oh, we're gonna create a new standard. We're gonna outdo Micah stuff, and so that's kind of the culture that we built and established. And Micah's been a tremendous leader, and I know that's been an area he's really focused on in the off season. And it's been a big area of growth for him, and so we're expecting big things from him from a leadership standpoint in 2024.
Micah, let's start with you. You tied a Division II record last year with 4 interception returns for touchdowns, and I just was curious, are you auditioning for an offensive spot?
I played some offense in high school, so I told Coach Brady if he ever needs a goal line or a key first down, put me in the game. So, but anytime I get the ball, though, I just feel confident that I can take it to the house because offensive guys don't practice tackling, so might as well use my speed and my offensive wisdom from before and just take it to the house.
So you have a 2-way future here in this season, Coach?
Keep an eye on that. Which you shouldn't be surprised. Let's just say that.
Okay, I want credit if that happens. Connor, I want to read verbatim when I talked to Coach Brady on the phone when he was describing you earlier this week. He says you're a workout warrior, you love to train, and he said, I don't know if this is okay now, but he's one of those old school maulers. He's nasty up there on the offensive line. Is this true?
This is kind of my play style, playing physical, being violent, and have gotten a few scraps at practice, not super proud, but it happens. But I think me growing up, I've always had that chip on my shoulder. So my play style's always been violent, physical, and I just do my best to bring that every day.
Where did that chip on your shoulder characteristic, as you mentioned, coming up, where did that come from, do you think?
Well, at least in terms of football, I was always super undersized. In high school, I was in my junior year of varsity, I was a 220-pound tackle. So, not super big, always never been the biggest dude out there, but, I've always taken pride in, everything I do, and so I may not be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, but I'm going to go out there, I'm going to play my hardest every time, so.
You got an All-American sitting to your right that had quite a season last year. What do you think of Micah, his ability, and him as a player in person?
Man, obviously the accolades speak for themselves, the stats speak for themselves. He's a great football player. He's the best football player I've ever been around in my career. But he's an even better person. It's a dude that, I'm blessed to be around every day. I see his process. I see the great teammate he is, the passion he has for the game. There's no one else I'd rather share it, be on the team with. And then it's even better, easily the best defensive player in the country. You want to be great, you have to play the best. So me and him go against each other every day. Our iron sharpens iron. So, it's just a blessing to have him as a teammate.
Micah, same sort of question for you. What's it like competing against Connor and being his teammate as you guys get ready to go through your last season together here at SDSU?
Same thing. Like Craig said, iron sharpens iron. I've seen him since the first day he's been here. He's developed and staying him out. You're talking about a guy who, talks about he couldn't even stand on his own 2 feet and, had bad hands, but he's been working on that. And I've seen his process and I've seen the way he's worked out and the way he's become a leader and his character develop. And, it becomes, when you see it as a player and you see him develop, there's nothing else there's no other team that you'd rather sit next to right here. So, it's going to be awesome.
Coach, it sounds like to me, and you had mentioned this a little bit, this group is close, and you feel like that's going to be a big difference potentially in maybe taking that next step. Is that, how do you get a team to gel like it seems like these guys have come together as you head into fall camp?
Yeah, well, it's just been, we've been building this over time, and so, our retention has been great. I feel like we're recruiting at a high level. I think the strength of our program is our development. So we've been developing guys like this for 3-4 years, and they got a whole collection of buddies that have been along for the ride, along for the journey. And so, last year we only had 7 seniors. This year we're gonna roll into season with 14, and then we've got a huge junior class and a lot of sophomores that played last year, and a few really special redshirt freshmen. So it's exciting. You can feel it in our building. every day, the atmosphere and the environment, and just the way the guys interact with each other, the way they love each other. It's just, I haven't felt this at this level since I've been here, and so it's just significantly different, than things were, 8 months ago.
With success comes new opportunities, and you saw that with some of your staff members this year, so you had to make new hires, and I know that was a stressful time, but you were able to get everybody in by spring ball for the most part. Tell us about these new coaches and what they bring to the table and what they can add here for 2024.
Yeah, we talked about the last 7 months. I mean, we've had our fair share of adversity, and what I respect and appreciate the most is the players and their trust in me, to go out and we've had coaches move on and move up over the years. So I'm all about hiring the best, and great people have come to work at Saginaw with me, and so. The players, they knew it, like, oh, coach, we know you got us. And so they were a part of the process when we brought new coaches in. And so all those coaches spent time with the players. And I said, hey, guys, what do you think? Tell me. Do you want this to be your coach? So the players really appreciated that. And, we got all kinds of new coaches. So we had a staff retreat a few days ago, and, the person was presenting said, okay, who's the new coach here? 3/4 of the room raised their hands. So, but it feels like we've been together much longer than that, and so that's just because when you're a football coach, you spend so much time together, weekends, and I mean, it's year-round, never stops, and so. But we got like Mike McClanahan is going to coach our offensive line. He's done a fantastic job, and he's developed a great relationship with Connor and the rest of his crew. I mean, it's one of the strengths of our football team this year will be our offensive line. We got 4 returning starters. And so we're really excited about that. And then we have Davis Lewandowski, who's going to coach our tight ends, and he's did a fantastic job. And he's like the Swiss Army knife. He's good at everything he does. And we've got 3 tight ends that all return that played significant downs for us. So we love that we're going to be, we think, really good in the trenches on the offensive side of the ball. And then defensively, we brought in Brandon Clayton. He was a defensive back coach. Special teams coordinator for Northwest Missouri State, national powerhouse, and so really excited about what he's did with our secondary and the new things that we're doing defensively, and new philosophies and strategies, and that's been really exciting. But it's the same thing with our defense. We return everybody back on defense. Our front 7, our secondary, and so that's going to be a strength of our defense as well. So we feel really good about our offensive defensive lines, and our linebacking core and our tight ends, and obviously, Terrence Brown was the freshman player of the year, so we feel really good about being able to run the football and stop the run, and we think we're going to be really good on special teams as well.
Connor, there's obviously a trust factor with Coach here. He just said it. You guys were able to be a part in the coaching hires. That's pretty cool. What was that feeling, knowing that Coach involved you guys and he took your opinion seriously on who he's bringing in to lead you guys in this program?
Oh yeah, obviously it means a lot, that, for the coach and I'm playing for, it's tough, going into my last year, losing the guy that I played for 2 years. And so for Coach Brady to allow, me, Ryan Wiley, Tyus Thompson, to really play a factor in, who we wanted as a coach, means the world that he trusts us that much. I think we definitely made the right decision in who we got. So super excited for the future of what we got going on this year.
Micah, you're kind of a makeshift defensive back with how many interceptions you're getting, and you have a pretty good defensive back in Brandon Clayton that's now leading the defense. And Coach mentioned how much you guys bring back on that side of the ball. Tell us what it's been like so far working with Coach Clayton, and what do you expect it to be like on that side of the ball with him in charge this year?
Yeah, he's been awesome. I mean, he just brings another switch to this defense. He brings a lot more versatility, allows us to be aggressive. I think he's been awesome. He's been a all-around football guy. He knows the front 7. He knows the DBs. He knows how to connect with all the players and stuff. Watching him develop the back 7 and helping us get better all around as a defense, it's been amazing.
Coach Brady, last question. You talked a little bit about this with me. You guys, and I feel like I've been saying this a lot, there's a lot of difficult schedules in this conference, and you guys specifically, you're going to be on the road a lot. but you said that's something you enjoy, bonding with the guys, being at the hotel. Tell us how you attack this year and this difficult schedule as, again, you try and take that next step up here in 2024.
Yeah, it's a new year, but it's the same old for what we've done for the last 4 years. So we feel like we've played one of the toughest schedules in the country every single year since I've been here. And so this year will be no different. We'll be road warriors in 2024, and yeah, I do love that. I mean, I love being on the road with these guys, and this is a hotel we stay at when we come play Davenport. So as soon as we come in, we're talking about that and the chicken wings we get down the road that we love when we make this trip. And so there's this, being on the road, being in the hotel, the meals, the film, the walkthroughs, being on the bus, like there's nothing better than team time and being on team time with your guys. To me, it's like being on vacation. Then you get to go compete and do what you love, which is the game. And so it's going to be cool. We get to go on some really cool trips this year. We're going to go out to Winona State. They got a great atmosphere, a great program. It's going to be a really tough week 1 opener, and then we travel to our crosstown rival in Northwood, and that's the GLIAC Bowl. So that'll be exciting and fun. Then we get to go take a trip to Indianapolis. And, they're a top 10 team, playoff team year in and year out. And so it's going to be. We go to Ferris State. It's going to be cool. We go to Wayne State. We got some cool trips, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, we're looking forward to watching you guys this year compete. Best of luck, and we'll see you out there on the field.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
The GLIAC is the Conference of Champions. Since its inception in 1972, GLIAC teams have won 53 national championships and countless more individual championships.
Throughout the GLIAC, passionate fans come support our athletes in 21 NCAA-sponsored sports.
Just as important as being champions on the field.
The pool.
The court.
The course.
The track.
GLIAC student athletes are champions in the classroom and the community.
The GLIAC is.
The GLIAC is.
The GLIAC is.
The Conference of Champions. 2024 GLIAC Football Media Day presented by FloSports. We have made it through 7 teams. 1 more left to go. That is the Wayne State Warriors, led by head coach Tyrone Wheatley. He's brought defensive lineman Gus Taylor and offensive lineman Charles Wesley with him as well. Coach, I'm going to start same type of question I've asked the other guys that were in their first year last year. How did it go? What'd you think of year 1 down in Detroit?
Well, pretty much as I expected. What I mean by that is, it's been said about it, right? Super tough conference. I think we played one of the toughest schedules, like everybody else, right? So, just understanding that going in, but at the end of the day, to rebuild, to restructure, to grow, but it was a delight with the guys that I had coming in. Like I said last year, they invited me in with care and with nurture, right? And we had a good season. I would say it was a pretty good season. Not number-wise, but in terms of growth and whole mindset, it was a good season.
I think we got to flip your mic on for you. You sit that middle.
There we go.
There we go. Now we can hear you a little. I don't mean to make you repeat yourself, but tell us what that first year was like. Let's hear you.
Okay, once again, first year it was pretty much as what I expected. Everyone who was building this said tough conference, right? Just going in, we played one of the toughest schedules. I think maybe our first 4 or 5 games with teams in the top 10, 15. So it was pretty rough. It was a pretty tough schedule. But in terms of where you look at the young men that I had and the buy-in that they gave, I think we kept them out in a pretty good spot to build on for this year.
Yeah, looking at just the NCAA, you guys faced teams that had a nearly 64% win percentage, and 4 of your 8 losses were to playoff teams. So kind of like what comes with this conference, you're kind of thrust right into it with great competition. And I imagine, although maybe only a few wins, you learn something going through a year like that.
Well, it's, like I said, it was kind of expected. Yes, you do learn, but I kind of equate this conference to running a quarter mile. It's a damn hard race. If you go into that race thinking about it, you will lose. So you have to really think about yourself, what your race is, what your game plan is, and really just concentrate on what you have, and basically not so much as looking at the finish line, but taking one spot at a time, gradually getting there.
Okay, so in that theme, if you run the quarter mile in the first season and you run another quarter mile here in year 2, what needs to be the next steps to take the next jump you're looking at?
Great question. Well, that thing is, everybody's kind of said the same thing, is, leadership, understanding your role, right? And when I say understanding your role is, there's nowhere in the world you can jump out, because the teams are so far ahead of you, there's no way where you're going to catch it. You have to understand what your race is and what you have to do. And so for us, it's being understanding the situational football. Being in a place where when we are exposed to win that down, win the situation, and not give it up. And we also talk about having football just being a lifestyle, right? I know today in the world, these young men, there's a lot of things that they're out there doing. They want to have brands, and they want to do all this other stuff, but be where your feet are. You can't blossom in other pots. You have to blossom in where you are. So having football being a lifestyle. And then last but not least is, and it sounds a little weird, but I'll explain it, is make them players. And when I say make them players, it's not giving them gifts. And it goes back to the very first one, situational football. If you play football and you're doing the right things and you make them play the next down instead of giving them an interception, instead of funning, instead of jumping outside, penalties, unforced errors, then they have to play. And then if we keep the game close, now we have a pretty good chance.
These guys next to you, they're going to play a big role in taking that next step this year. Tell us about the two that are here today representing Wayne State.
Well, I tell you, if I had 30 of these guys, man, it'd be a different story. But I will start with Gus. He's a guy that really impressed me. We're in Detroit, and I don't want to be cliche-ish, but he's a typical hard hat, steel-toe boot worker. He comes in and he works and he goes and he's a fiery guy. And the one thing I like about him is his ceiling is still high, right? He hasn't reached his potential. I don't even think he understands it. And I push him a lot. I push him, and he goes. And one of the things I think where we took a big step last year was he was a little tired, and I didn't put him off the field in practice. And I said, you have to learn how to play tired. And while you're playing tired, you have to go to your technique. You can't always be a bull. But when you're tired, you have to lean on your technique. And once he did that, and he started understanding his technique, which gives him the better playing role, he blossomed. And then the guy next to me is kind of like my Terminator. You can't destroy this guy. You can't. And I kind of get in trouble sometimes because I'll look at him and he's running, and I'll kind of forget about the rest of the team. Everybody else's tongue is hanging out. They're bent over, and they're like, Coach, can we, I'm looking at Charles, and he's, what's up, Coach? I'm ready to go. So, like, Mr. Indestructible, and on the offensive line, he plays everywhere. So I kind of feel bad. I want to give him a solid home. But at the end of the day, he's one of the guys that we put him at tackle, center, guard, whatever the case may be. He's going to play, and he's going to go after 1,000%. I got to keep him out the weight room because I don't think there's, plenty of clothing that can fit his arms right now. I think his biceps are like 40 inches right now. But these two guys right here are strong individuals.
I feel like kind of let down, Charles, that you had to wear a suit today, so we don't get to see those biceps, man. Tell us about that Terminator type of mindset that Coach is talking about, that will to keep going even when you're tired. Where does that come from?
I think the mindset comes is from the coaches and them instilling that in us, is because I don't think it's just me. I think that's the majority of the team. And I think a big part of that was this past winter conditioning and having that full winter conditioning going into year 2 with this coaching staff, and just be able to have Coach Wheatley just take over at many points and just push us past points to where we didn't think we could go to before. And I think that really just helped us to grow and mature. This as a whole, just be able to see how far we can really push ourselves.
Is it something that you appreciate, kind of showing by example to your teammates that when you are tired, you're going to keep going, and you want them to see that mindset from you so that spreads to them as well?
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to be able to show my teammates is just you can push yourself to the next level, and no matter what situation you are in, you can keep on going. And I think that's something I've learned from a lot of great guys just in the past, is a lot of seniors in the past, especially last year, just a lot of great seniors showing me through what they're doing and just trying to take that role on this year.
Charles, tell us how you have success, as Coach is talking about playing in so many different spots on the line.
I think that a lot of success being able to play different positions is because of the coaches, and I think just as soon as the coaches came in here, especially O-line coach, Coach Berg, he just kind of really stressed the importance of knowing the playbook, knowing every single position, and I think that really just knowing about every single position and knowing the playbook front to back, that makes the transition easy. Go from center to tackle, guard to left guard, and just really, by knowing the playbook, it really helps by doing that.
Gus, how have you grown and gotten better in your time at Wayne State?
Well, when I first got here, I think I was more of like a smaller guy, so like I really just kept my head down and just kept grinding like on the scout team. Like I made sure I was learning from the older guys ahead of me and the O-linemen in front of me. And I just started gaining weight, getting bigger, and I think this year will be a great year for us.
What's it like to go against that guy that's sitting to your left?
Pain in my butt, honestly. The strong guys, hard to go against every day. We might get a little scrappy during practice, but we're always buddies right after, so.
Yeah, what's it like having him as a teammate? How does he make you better?
I mean, man, he's like the strongest guy, so I mean, he's always like getting into me, holding me, trying to make me better. I know I said hold him, but he knows he doesn't, so.
Charles, you're playing for a guy that he's a pretty good running back in his day, and he likes to run the football. We saw that last year. You guys ran the football a lot. How much pride do you take in helping a successful ground attack for Wayne State?
I think a lot of pride comes from that. I think you ask any O-lineman in here that they want to run the ball. You know, passing the ball is fun, but at the end of the day, every O-lineman, they want to get in the dirt, they want to run the ball and just get physical. And I think, you know, having that, just that trust from coach in the O-line and the running backs, just be able to run every play and run a lot, I think that's just means a lot.
Coach Wheatley, we talked and you said you love being a head coach, and this is what you strive to be in your coaching career as you've ascended. What is it specifically that you love about being the head coach of Wayne State?
First and foremost is being on the stage, being in front of young men like this, getting a chance to see them go, like you said, come in as raw material, and then having them grow and transform themselves into not only just football players, but good young men, right? I think for me, that's the biggest part. And then just helping to transform the university. Coach, I can't remember which coach said it before, but you know, our football programs are the front porch of our universities. And to be able to have a chance to beautify and regentrify the entire university, that's an entire deal. And being in that seat and driving that motive is an incredible feeling. And that's what I like about it.
Last question, Coach. I know you talked about it a little bit and step by step in that race that you're running here, but what is success for you this season? What are you hoping to see?
Well, just kind of reiterating, right? Understanding the situations, playing a mistake. We can't play a mistake-free football, but not making bad decisions worse. Being able to play good football. Just play good football. Give us a chance to win. That's really what I'm looking for.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time, and play good football this year, you two. Okay? Thanks for your time.